Better me.
Better me.
Better me.
Better me.
It's better me. Hopefully. Not you again. Listen to the podcast. Actually, I'm secretly really pumped. Well, actually, not even secretly pumped. I am super pumped that you're back on the podcast, hanging out with me. A, because I feel like I need more friends in my life, and B, because I've got such a great episode for you today. Not to toot my own horn, I was just really pumped about our guests. Today, we're talking about where the F is my energy. So today we want to figure out why the hell we never have any energy. I don't know about you, but I'm always feeling completely sucked dry of my energy. I will try and get enough sleep, do enough exercise, not drink alcohol, do all these things, take all the supplements, and I still just feel tired. This seems to be a really common thing with a lot of people. So many of my conversations revolve around how tired we are. And I feel like us talking about how tired we are makes us more tired. So why I wanted to do this episode was to figure out how we can stop being so freaking tired all the time. And today's guest is a wonderful person to talk to about this. She's written an entire book about it, Lisa O'Neill.
Like I talk a lot about energy plumbing, and it's like you've got blockages and you've got leaks.
Ooh,
and there's so many leaks.
Break this down for me. I love this analogy. I also spoke to my friend Bex, who has been medically diagnosed with hypothyroidism.
So I got the blood test done, and then she messaged me and said, hi, can you urgently come in? P.S. I am so sorry. And I've never had a doctor apologise to me.
Better me, hopefully, with Sharyn Casey.
Lisa, you are a rock star. You've got a new book out, which, first of all, can I say is very aesthetically pleasing to look at, bright pink and yellow. It's called Energy, and that's why I wanted to talk to you today, because you have such a great outlook on energy, and I feel like that's the biggest thing as we get older. It seems the metabolism goes, and then our energy goes out the window. So, Lisa, let's talk energy.
100%. I love this.
Okay. First of all, where the F has my energy gone? Because nothing drives me more crazy than when my kids get up in the morning and they bounce out of bed and they're like, whoa! And I don't even drink anymore, and I wake up every morning feeling like I'm hungover. So why is it as we're getting older, what is it that's making us so depleted of our energy?
I actually think it's obligation and resentment, to be honest.
Okay, we're getting deep straight off the bat.
I think emotional energy, like people talk about energy and about, if I drink more water, or I go to bed earlier, or I eat a cucumber, or whatever it is, it's like, yeah, cool, do all that. But I actually think the biggest thing is emotional energy. And the reason kids are so free is they don't get bogged down. They don't think, oh my God, is she talking about me? Like, they don't buy into the stuff they don't buy into. They don't feel obligated. They just go, I want to do that. And then they go, and now I don't, and now I want to do this. And they're so free. And as we get older, we just get layers and layers and layers of shit put on us. And some of the layers we buy into, and some of the layers we go, that's not okay. But often it's really unconscious that we've got all these layers of shit. And we have energy, but we have leaks. Like I talk a lot about energy plumbing, and it's like you've got blockages and you've got leaks.
Ooh,
and there's so many leaks.
Break this down for me. I love this analogy.
So there's lots of leaks, like things that leak energy are shit you're worried about that you can't control. Like just lying awake at night going, oh no, but what if and what if not? And it's literally such a waste of energy. And it's that mental browser that's always like people who overthink.
Oh my God, I feel like you're talking
straight
to my soul.
Over and over and over the same thing. And it's just boring, and it doesn't help.
How do you stop those thoughts though? Because that is exactly what I do. I can go to bed some nights and I just boom, pass out as soon as I hit the pillow. And I try, I read before bed to kind of switch my brain off.
Same.
But also, sometimes I would lie there, like last night, I lay there for about 2 hours just working myself into a frenzy about what I had to do the next day and things like that, and just getting in these spirals of things that I don't really need to be in. So how do we stop that thought process?
Yeah, so I call that pre-worrying, and it's like there's no point pre-worrying, because if tomorrow's going to be a nightmare, you'll deal with it tomorrow.
True.
Do you know what I mean? And if all you're doing, you're not actually fixing tomorrow by lying awake for 2 hours last night, you're just stuffing up last night.
Yeah.
So I kind of have these meetings with myself where I go, okay, I need to sleep now, and brain, you need to turn off. I've had enough of you today. That is done. And my brain is a playground. Like, it's pretty mental. So I just have to, and head management, I think, is a big part of my life because I've always had undiagnosed ADHD,
Me
like
too.
max to the max.
Yeah.
Like, I've done a couple of little tests and I'm like, I'm so off the charts, it's not even worth getting a point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And, I've got kids with ADHD, it's like, looks like an elephant, smells like an elephant, it's an elephant, right? So, and my head's always been a real playground and I've always gone, look, if I can manage my head, I can manage anything. And if I can manage my head and I go, what's that thought about? Where did that come from? And then I'm like, I don't think it's useful. Depends. When I'm on my own, I do it externally and I travel a lot. So in a car, I'll quite often just yab it to myself and be like, what was that about? Why were you doing that this morning? And I talk to myself quite a lot. I do it mostly in my head. So I'll get into bed and I talk about a closing ceremony and an opening ceremony every day. So I think your opening ceremony of how do you start the day? Like, what is your opening ceremony? What's your first thought? What are you, and then your closing ceremony of how do you shut your brain down? And I've got tea I drink, I've got stuff I do, and then I go, okay, right, the day's over. Thanks so much. You've been amazing. You need to go to sleep now, and we're not having any more conversations, and now we're just going to rest. And I actually talk to myself and go, right, that's enough of that. It's a bit like how you talk to your children. Yeah. Like, come on, it's time for bed now. Because it's that self-nurturing and kind of reparenting yourself. And I don't think most of us weren't. I don't think anyone's parented the way they wanted to be. That's why we're all in therapy, right? The whole world is, because no one's happy about that. So it's like, how do you reparent yourself and be really nice to yourself? Like, I literally get into bed and go, wow, you were awesome today. That was really good. Yeah, you nailed that. Yeah, you could have done. Yeah, that was okay. Don't worry about that. Okay, well, you need to sleep now. Night, and I kind of put myself to bed and it just helps me shut myself down and just acknowledge the day's over, acknowledge what you did that was awesome, let yourself off the hook for go, oh, you were pretty bad then. That wasn't that cool. Yeah. It could have been better, but oh well, you're a human, right? What are you going to do? It's done. Yeah. Move on. No one died. What if you were late? Like, so what if you spilt your coffee on your shirt? It's all good. Just calm down.
I really love that analogy of like, having your opening ceremony every morning, you're like, ta-da! Like, I make my bed every morning because if I make my bed, I know no matter what happens in my day, one thing has gone to plan. I've made my bed, it looks cute, and I'm happy with it.
You're happy with it.
But then, like, the closing ceremony at the end of the day, because I think that a lot of people would probably think that that's just like a quick thing you do in your head when you're lying down. But you're saying it's like a whole kind of arching like...
It's probably about an hour. So I start with tea. I drink a relaxing tea. And I have a theory that my body goes, oh, we're going to bed soon. When it feels the tea, it goes, okay, it must be time for bed. And then I do I love skincare routines.
Oh my God, me too. That's my favourite thing.
Love it. Love a little warm muslin and a little skincare routine. Yum. And I love that kind of your skin's your biggest organ, so I give that some love. And then I love getting dressed for bed. Like, I'm like yummy jammies and yummy things. And then I like to read. And then I have like magnesium beside my bed and lavender oil and I rub magnesium oil on my feet and I have this little things I do. And then I go, oh, good, I'm all ready for bed now. Like, I'm ready. I didn't just whip my pants off and fall into the sheets. Yeah. It was like a deliberate thing because I think sleep's really serious and I think we should take it seriously and have a preparation process for it,
It's so interesting because I do that for my children.
Yeah.
My children have a bedtime routine. Yep. So like, why do I not have one for myself? Like, that's quite amazing.
And we're just big, old, grumpy children.
100%. Honestly, I'm just like thinking about this in my head and I was like, I wonder if I could get my husband to swaddle me and pat my butt like a baby. So I
think so.
Little bum rub,
little bum rub and a bit of muslin. Yeah. Right? That would be nice.
That would be so good.
Yeah.
Now, this is probably a good part to introduce you to my friend Bex because she is amazing. And I think it is worth noting that, like, not all lack of energy is to do with our emotions. And I wanted to make sure that we covered that off. And Bex has been through one hell of a journey with her body.
Yeah, so I, at the time, was working a full-time job that was totally taxing and it was like sleep, breathe, repeat. Like, it's all I did. It was my full lifestyle, 60 plus hours a week, and I loved it, which is why I didn't care that I was working such long hours. But then my body kind of started shutting down on me and I thought, oh, this is what burnout is. And being a typical Kiwi with she'll be right, eat better, sleep more, drink water, you'll be fine. Did all of that, nothing changed. In fact, it got worse. I was so lethargic, I would get 10 hours of sleep, and I thought maybe that was the problem. I was getting too much sleep because I would still wake up feeling like I hadn't had any sleep at all, like my pillow, my head had been on the pillow for 5 minutes, and I decided to cut back on sleep. So I thought, okay, I'm probably like a 7-hour, stock standard average sleep amount. That didn't work either. Tried a bunch of things, worked out more, changed my eating habits completely, and nothing changed. I was still tired, and now by this point I was also gaining weight, but eating probably the smallest amount I had ever consumed in terms of safe calories, because I'm very pro eating well for your body. But I wasn't putting rubbish in, and I was gaining a lot of weight. Like I gained over 20 kilos in, I think, a year and a half. And yeah, it got to about the 2-year mark where I thought, I was talking to my dad, and he said to me, your mum has hypothyroidism. And I said, I don't even know what that is. And he said her thyroid basically didn't function, and she had to go on medication for it. I think you should go to the doctor. And I kind of went, oh, it won't be that. Like, I'm a busy gal. That's what it is. And I actually went to the doctors, and she said, look, it's about this age. I think I was around 26. It's about this age that your metabolism changes. You can't eat what you used to. You can't drink what you used to, because your body can't keep up with it anymore. So she sort of sent me off. I did change doctors after this. She sent me off saying, you've basically gained a lot of weight from an unhealthy lifestyle, when I knew that wasn't really the case. So I did go back and I said, look, I'd really like some blood tests. So I got the blood test done, and then she messaged me and said, hi, can you urgently come in? P.S. I am so sorry. And I've never had a doctor apologise to me. But yeah, my thyroid was not functioning. Like, the levels were so low, it was quite scary.
Wow, because I think that is a really important thing, and it's hard to do. I think a lot of us, especially women, are such people pleasers that we just accept what experts and professionals say to us. When there's something in your gut that is telling you otherwise, I think it's really important to do what you did and advocate for yourself when you're even speaking to like the best doctor in the world. If you still feel like something's not right, you've really got to advocate for yourself. And so that came back for you.
Yes.
If you could list off a shopping list of, so did it turn out that you had a hypothyroidism?
Hypo. So there's hyper and hypo, overactive and underactive. I had an underactive, severely underactive thyroid.
So if you had to shopping list symptoms for that, if somebody listening to this may think, okay, I've tried everything else. Mentally, I'm not getting the leaks and stuff like what Lisa was talking about. Maybe I need to get tested for this. What would the symptoms be for people to kind of be wary of?
Yeah, at first you're going to feel really tired. This is just my experience, of course, but at first I felt tired. Then the weight gain started. Then I got really dry, brittle hair. It was just breaking. Then I felt really low. My partner didn't know what to do. I used to sit on the couch and stare at the wall and cry, and he would say, what's wrong? And I would say, I actually have no idea, because I know that my life is good. But I think, before I knew as well, it was probably this like frustration that I couldn't figure it out. So that really started depressing me.
So that's Bex's story of what's robbing her of energy. And if you think any of that sounds like you, I really want to stress to you that you absolutely should speak to your doctor and just really advocate for yourself, because sometimes I feel like we don't do that when it comes to medical professionals. But back to Lisa. If we think about the ways that we can be mentally or emotionally robbed of energy, I really wanted to know what tips that she could give us to help us overcome that, because it's definitely a big problem for me.
Think physically, like there's sleep, there's movement, the stuff that makes us feel good, right? And I'm not an athlete, like I'm not into running and jumping and shit, but I'm really into movement. Like I'll just roll on the floor with the dog, or I do a lot of. I've always loved dancing. Like dancing makes me really happy. Rolling around on a foam roller, just like moving. I do a bit of Tai Chi, bit of Qigong, but a kind of just my own version. Like nothing anyone can watch, that's okay. Just weird stuff I do. But it just makes my body feel alive. Like what do you do to wake up your feet? And then I go, oh, wow, I just want to thank my hands. My hands are pretty cool. They do a lot of cool stuff. Thanks, hands.
Because I feel like you only appreciate things like that when they don't work.
100%.
Like when you
and it's like,
break
when
your
was the
finger or
last
something.
time you just sat and went, wow, my hands are awesome? And I like rub hand cream on my hands and just thank each of my fingers and go, thanks for being here.
Yeah, great
You
job,
mate, good
fingers.
job,
You've done
guys.
some high quality things in your life.
Yeah, like you've carried some stuff.
Yeah.
You've picked up some stuff. You're doing all right. And when you think about your hand, like I was at an event once and someone said, oh, tell the person next to you what's amazing about you. And I was sitting next to someone I didn't know and I said, everything. And she was like,
Who's this lady? Who's this?
everything. I'm like, no, literally everything about me is amazing. She was like, I want what you're on. And I'm like, well, no, but the fact my fingernails grows, amazing. Like our bodies are freaks, are so amazing. And so much goes right. And I think the fact this finger moves, like the amount of things that have to happen for that finger to move is quite extraordinary. And I don't think we spend enough time in awe of ourselves.
That is...
You know, we don't go, oh my God, look at my finger, it's moving.
You've honestly blown my mind because I am now thinking to myself, oh my God, like you're so right. Like that is, you don't really take appreciation. The only time I've really taken true appreciation of my body is when I had my children.
Oh, 100%. That's
and going in
extraordinary.
going in the thing and being like, how did I make a brain, an entire like nervous system,
Yeah.
a digestive system, a skeleton? Because
No,
I
you did that.
didn't even think about it until my 6-year-old was like, Mum, are you making Rue's penis? And I was like, actually, yes, I am.
did.
And I have absolutely no idea how I did it. And I think that's the only time I've truly been appreciative of my body.
Oh, pregnancy blows my mind. Like I've
Yeah.
had 4 children and I loved being pregnant and I just felt like a miracle.
Yeah.
I was like, I am a miracle.
So
I was
buzzy.
just like, I blew my mind.
The other thing I guess is like if somebody's like they've got the opening and closing ceremony, they're sleeping really well, but the energy is still crap. Where do you think is the best place to look? Because like the amount of vitamins and all that crap that I've bought because it promises me this like amazing boost of energy in a cup or a pill or whatever out there is overwhelming. So
The
like,
biggest source of energy in our lives is emotional energy. Like, you know how people go, oh, I'm so tired and I'm so exhausted and I've
Yeah.
got fatigue and people whinging all the time, just reaffirming how exhausted they are, which is so boring. But if you said, I'm really tired and I've got no energy, and I said, you just won a trip for 5 of your best friends to go around Europe for 6 weeks, all expenses paid, you wouldn't be tired. You would be
True. Yeah,
lit
you'd be-
like a candle. And that's emotional energy where you've got something to look forward to. And I always say to people say, oh, I'm really tired. I'm like, tired of what? And they're like, oh, what do you mean? I'm like, what are you tired of? Because people, it's not that they're not sleeping. They're getting 8 hours sleep, but they're waking up tired. And I always say to people, you need to do more. And they go, oh my God, I can't do any more. I'm doing so much. I'm so busy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but what are you doing that's lighting you up? Because you're not doing anything that you like. You're cleaning the bench, you're doing the vacuuming, you're folding the washing.
now that I'm like listening to what you're saying, every night this week I have gone to bed in like a mental frenzy of like thinking about all of this stuff that genuinely doesn't matter. And this week I have been so, like waking up feeling so groggy and shit. And I think that you're totally right. Energy does just come down to the mental side.
Yeah, it's mental and emotional. So mental is what you think and emotional is how you feel.
Yeah.
And so if you feel amazing, you are amazing. And if you feel like crap, you are like crap. And it's pretty simple. But we spend so much of our lives, especially when we get into adulthood, right? We're so responsible, looking after everybody,
Yeah.
taking responsibility for everything that happens. Then we've got all this obligation of, well, no, but I have to go to that award. I have to turn up. I have to go to the baby shower. No, you don't. The baby will be born whether you're there or not. Like,
True.
do you know what I mean? There's all this really boring obligation and then resentment of like, well, how come I go to the gym and I'm not thin? And how come she's got more money than me? And how come her husband buys her flowers? And we're all like, I didn't get the life I wanted.
Yeah.
And we're in this having a little tanty about stuff because we have this kind of idea that life's supposed to be a certain way and it's just not.
So given that Bex has a medically diagnosed issue that had depleted her of energy, I did want to check in with her whether she thought there was any merit to any of these mental and emotional leaks though.
Absolutely, because there are other things that have played out in my life where I know that mindset would have changed the way that my energy levels were operating. But at the same time, there are medical reasons for losing energy as well. And I lost a lot of energy. I wasn't me. My dad said to me, I do not know how you've functioned for the last 2 years with levels like that. He knows a lot about science. He's a bit weird. And he said to me, I don't know how you've been doing what you do without being diagnosed with that and having the appropriate medication. So I totally agree with her, but at the same time, sometimes there is need for medical intervention.
It's so funny that you say that, because I remember when you were going through this, and I remember constantly just thinking, why is Bex not talking to me? Have I upset Bex? Why does Bex hate me? Because I'm such a, like, that's how my anxiety works, is that I'm constantly like worried that people hate me or whatever. That's why having a podcast where I get told how many people listen to it is not good for my brain, because then I'm like, oh my God, people hate me. Less people listen to this episode or whatever. But I remember being so worried about you because you didn't seem yourself.
Yeah.
And that moment that you found out that what was really going on, it was like a light bulb moment.
Yes, because I'm actually an anxious girly like you, and I care deeply what people think. And honestly, if you would come up to me, I don't even recall. I've kind of mentally blocked out a lot of what went on during that time. But if you had come up to me and said, Bex, are we all good? I honestly wouldn't have even thought. I would have just thought, yeah, we're fine. And not cared, but not given it a second thought, because I was so low.
Better Me, hopefully, sponsored by Specsavers. Guess who's back again? It's Ryan O'Connor, the optometrist from Specsavers, and he's here to answer all of my glasses optical questions. And I need to know, Ryan, what does an OCT 3D eye scan do? And is it going to help my husband be better at finding things around the house? Because I swear he cannot find anything.
Sharyn, as an optometrist and a bit of a geek, this is my favourite piece of equipment that we have in our practices. It stands for optical coherent tomography. Big words. It just kind of maps your eyeballs with light, and it allows us to pick out all the diseases. So making sure that you're lovely and healthy, there's no glaucoma, there's no macular degeneration, there's no damage from diabetes. We can see that. Unfortunately, you, the patient, don't necessarily see that. There's no way of seeing these things on the outside. So when you come into Specsavers, you get this hospital-grade technology that allows us to make sure your eyes continue to be healthy.
It sounds a little bit scary when it's explained, but I had the OCT 3D eye scan recently, and it was actually really fun, and it was so fast and easy. So if you are somebody that's, a little bit apprehensive about getting these sorts of things done, definitely go and do it. It's pain-free, it's fast, it's easy, and I honestly enjoyed it. Will it help my husband find things around the house, Ryan? Just real quick before I send you on your way.
Unfortunately, as amazing as it is, it will not help Bryce find things. You'll have to keep pointing them out because you've got new glasses.
Okay, maybe I need to find a divorce lawyer. Thank you so much, Ryan. We'll catch up with you again soon, and maybe even in a Specsavers. One thing that we've been trying to answer with this podcast is so many people kind of prey on vulnerability, and they'll see a little thing that's vulnerable and they'll pick away at it to sell their thing or whatever.
Everyone's trying to sell off your deficit, what's your problem?
Yeah.
And I've got the solution for you. You just have to give me all your money.
Yeah.
And it's wow.
What do you think is the biggest, when it comes to energy, what is the biggest BS thing out there that the biggest myth that you're just you know what,
I think there's millions of them. But I think be very careful of anything that depends on you paying all the time. I think you go to people, I had a naturopath who I paid for about, he was amazing, literally changed my life. I was 26 and I had an adrenal collapse and my body stopped working completely, didn't move. So I went to him, he was extraordinary. And then I said to him one time, after about 6 months, I said, can I make another appointment? And he said, no. And I went, well, no, but I can wait. When can I see you? I was kind of hooked on him.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I'm not your policeman. I'm not here. It's not my job, Lisa. You need to take responsibility for yourself. And he said, you go away and give me a call in 3 months and see how you're getting on. And I was like, no, I've been taken off my incubator, But actually it was really good for me because dependency's a problem, and people try and make you dependent because it makes their bank account better. And everyone's got a solution. And I'm like, just check in with, do I actually need this? Because some things you do need. And I go, no, I don't know if I do need that. And I think we've really got to trust our instincts. Like I had someone who I was working with and they were like, oh, you need to do this every month. And I'm like, nah. Pretty sure I don't. No, I think 4 times a year would be fine for that. And they were like, it'd be better if you did it every month. I'm like, better for your business maybe, but no, I'm good. Wow. And you've got to trust yourself, and I think one of the great things, I'm old, so when you get older, you just trust yourself. Yeah. You just go, nah, that doesn't feel right for me. But when you're young, you're running around going, yep, let's fix everything and let's do everything. And you exhaust yourself doing everything. I'm like, oh my God, by the time you get up and, you go, oh, I've got to meditate and then I've got to have probiotics and then I've got to have my chia pudding soaked overnight and then I've got to do an hour of Qigong and, then I've got to journal and I'm like, oh, your day's ruined.
There is something that I have tried, and to be honest, I have found that it really, really helps. And my friend Hannah got me onto it, and I'm so grateful. And that is ashwagandha. And then I got Bex onto it, and now she's a big fan.
I love the ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha. I think I got you onto ashwagandha.
You did. So right before I got married, I, like I said, anxious girly. And I was like, all my energy was going into don't be anxious, don't be silly, don't be dumb. And my biggest fear on my wedding day was that I was going to walk down and just be so anxious that I'd be out of body and not present in the moment. And so you said, try this thing called ashwagandha. So I went to the Chemist Warehouse and I got it. And within 3 weeks, I want to say, my frame of mind, my anxiety levels, my energy, like everything felt better within that.
Love ashwagandha so much. It's
how fun is it to say?
It's my friend, shout out Hannah Barrett, she got me onto the Me Today ashwagandha because it's a really high dose.
And that's what I use.
It's not expensive. Like, get it from the Chemist Warehouse. It's so cheap. Yeah. And I take that religiously every day. Actually, we're in the Edge studio where I do the radio show at the moment, and producer Aaron's here. Producer Aaron, he helps looks after our radio show. Producer Aaron, could you please describe what I'm like before and after I've had my ashwagandha?
Oh, it's crazy. Like, before, you still have a lot of energy beforehand, but after, it's like another level. And it's more like, oh, Sharon's on ashwagandha today. Oh my God, everybody prepare. Sometimes
Aaron will come through like our comms and our headphones and be like, did you have your ashwagandha today? And I'm like, you better bloody believe it, babes. I'm on one.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's very
like
obvious.
You're smoking something, eh? Like, what do you want? The ashwagandha.
And you're like, oh.
Because someone explained it to me, ashwagandha is like an adaptogen, so it gives you what you need. So if you need energy, it gives you energy. If you need relief from anxiety, it gives you relief from anxiety. If you need help to sleep, it helps you sleep.
So it pinpoints.
Yeah.
Nice.
But, ashwagandha, highly recommend the Me Today one. Yeah. Not sponsored. It's just a high dose, easy to take, doesn't taste gross.
Yeah, you said that to me, I went and bought it, and honestly, within 3 weeks of taking it religiously daily, I felt so different.
Oh. There you go. Some recommendations from your old mates, Auntie Shazdog and Bex. Ashwagandha is where it's at. So back to Lisa. I want to give her the last word because regardless of whether there is something medical that's sucking your energy or whether these things that mentally or emotionally could trip away at you, there is one thing that we can all agree on.
You've got to be really gentle with yourself because being a human's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Getting up in the morning, putting clothes on, getting out the door and being someone on time. I'm like, whoop, let's give that person a medal because that was awesome.
Oh, God.
But you know what I mean? And then if you can get a meal on the table and have a shower, like, whew.
Oh, big day. It's a big day. You've really kicked goals when you've done that. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for joining us. You have been so inspiring. I've been in awe of you just listening. And if you want to get a copy of Lisa's book, it'll be in the show notes below. I highly recommend it. You are just such a brilliant person. Thank you so much for coming in and answering the question about where the F my energy has gone, because now I know where it's gone. It's worrying about BS that I don't need to be worried about. And I can't wait to actually wake up in the morning now and start doing this opening and closing ceremony every day, and just see how much better I feel. That's such great advice I've never thought of.
And just be nice to yourself. Because not many other people will be. That's the point. The world's mean. So it's like someone's got to be nice to you. It might as well be you.
just love all of the advice that's come through in this episode. I just feel like afterwards, I feel like I've been swaddled like a baby and cuddled through this whole episode. It's just been so many bits of advice that you can definitely take on board. So I want to say a massive thank you to Lisa. And if you haven't read her book or you would like to, you can get a link for it in the show notes. And I highly recommend that you do. It's such a fantastic book. And also got to say a massive thank you to my amazing friend Bex for sharing her story. I know that it will definitely help somebody that listens to this. And if it just makes somebody feel like they're not going crazy and gives them the bravery to like go and advocate for themselves at the doctor, then that has been the whole purpose of this podcast. What I've learned from this and where the F my energy is going, so many parts of my energy is definitely being lost through those like emotional leaks and the mental energy and the overthinking and things like that. And so I've really been trying to take on board some of the things that Lisa has said, especially that nighttime routine and trying to kind of wind down and switch off at the end of the night. And I definitely have found that my brain is a bit quieter. So I do recommend giving it a really good go. I do want to double down on the importance, though, of advocating for yourself, whether it is the doctor or whether it's a naturopath or anyone. If you ever get a gut feeling about your body that something isn't right and it's not all in your head like people might tell you, then do really advocate for yourself. Don't be scared to stand up for yourself and ask that question. And if you are like me and a lot of your energy loss is a mental thing, take on board what Lisa was saying, because holy moly, I had so many light bulb moments while she was talking. On the next episode of Better Me, hopefully, it's a big one. Vaping. I've decided that we're going to call it Vape Me Up Before You Go, which was producer Braden's idea, and I absolutely love it. We're going to chat with Professor Jude Ball, who has extensively researched the impact that vaping has had on us.
But just in terms of your physical health, the science is really clear that vaping affects respiratory health, so your lungs and breathing, your heart health, oral health, your gums are affected, and mental health can be affected.
And my mates Bree and Mike, who have done the hard yards to give up.
The habit's the hardest thing to break, and you just have it in your pocket. You can do it whenever. Doesn't smell, it tastes good.
Days where I'd be working from home, I would just have it in my hand constantly.
Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Please make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all of the stuff that I say every week at this point, in hopes that you will come back and listen to next week's episode, because I love you and I'm thirsty for your ear holes. Have a great day. Bye.